Our Buy Brandon campaign is a way for the chamber to put some excitement into our residents and our community about how important it is to spend your dollars here in Brandon.
The Buy Brandon campaign is very important for the city of Brandon. Here in South Dakota, most cities rely heavily on sales tax, much more than in other states. Without sales tax, we wouldn't be able to operate. You wouldn't have people plowing your snow. You wouldn't have a police department. You wouldn't have parks or park improvements. So it is essential that people buy in town. The more you buy in town, the more local sales tax comes into our coffers, the more things that we can do to improve your quality of life in Brandon.
Last year's Buy Brandon campaign went excellent. We did really good with the sales tax revenue, which now this year we get to reap the rewards of everyone buying Brandon.
Sales tax revenue was a little over $3.3 million last year. It was an increase over the previous year, and we have continually increased each year. We use that money for park improvements such as the Sunrise Playground surfacing, the transit bus system. Last year we did also buy a new bus. Our original bus was getting aged and old. We also use that for debt service and some equipment for different departments. With the money we bought a plow truck, which helps plow our streets in the winter months, and we also bought a loader.
One of the upsides to closing the pool this summer is we planned on doing a $1.6 million renovation down at the pool to include a new kiddie pool, some play features in the pool, as well as upgrading some equipment, expanding some of the lounge areas.
The Chamber's $5 challenge goes hand in hand with buying Brandon. It's as simple as just making it a priority to spend $5 a week right here in Brandon. By spending $5 extra a week, it does make a huge impact in our community. If you live in Brandon, like myself and my family do, I challenge you to make it a priority to spend your dollars right here in our community.
Test, test, test. Test, 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 test. You can hear me through them? Okay, good.
Ladies and gentlemen, the South Dakota High
Let's go at 10 then, because I have to read these.
their financial partner,
This for the beginning, and end. So I'm gonna kick it off with this, and then I'm. South Dakota, and we're about to kick off this big semifinal game between the O'Gorman Knights and your Brandon Valley Lynx. And let me just touch on this real quick before we start our broadcast. Before beginning of the broadcast of these playoff games has been authorized by special arrangement with the Board of Directors of the SDHSAA. Well, joining me tonight, I'm Ken McEwen. Joining me tonight is Coach Voss and
Coach Kleinens.
I know, but he hasn't been up here for a little while, so I paused a little bit. Coach Kleinens is up to my left, so I'm standing here in the middle. You can't see us, but it's a packed house. Up here, too, and it's a packed house out there. If we look across the field, the Knights really brought the fans, and obviously it is a packed house on the Lynx sideline. Guys, we have a matchup tonight. I think it's going to be a nail burner. I think it's going to be a heck of a football game. Coach Kleinens, you talked about what you thought it was going to be is a field position game.
Well, I think when you get to this point in the season, there's no tomorrow, and both teams know that. And the wind really died down, so my thought process has changed since 10 o'clock this morning. But, you know, sometimes on 4th and 2, it's better than just punt it and try to get good field position. You don't want to give the opposition a short field without a doubt.
And that's a good point. Coach Voss?
I think tonight, you know, what you really want to do when you get two evenly matched teams is really minimize turnovers because that can really flip field position for you. We saw the last 2 weeks with the Lynx what a difference turnovers can make between turning it over not at all last week versus 5 times the previous week.
And so what we have tonight, we're about 7.5 minutes away from kickoff. We'll see if they kick it off right at 7 o'clock. But guys, we talk about this Brandon Valley Lynx team. We don't know much about O'Gorman. You coaches do. You talked about what they're going to run tonight, what they have run basically since way back when. For years, but we know what the Lynx are going to run. We're going to run a lot of tight package, a lot of 2 tight end set, a lot of I formation, and we're going to try to pound the ball and play a little play action on that offensively. Am I correct?
Yeah. You know, as far as O'Gorman's concerned, I think it helps Brandon Valley, you know, playing Jefferson that runs a lot of option stuff, and O'Gorman's going to do that too. And, you know, when you play a team that runs the option, you have to spend a lot of time during practice on defense because you have to allocate, okay, you got the dive, you got the quarterback, you got the pitch, and you just have to rely on your kids to do their assignments, and that's so important with because you only have to have one guy mess up on an option game and they're gone. So I think it helped coming off Jefferson that runs option. O'Gorman's going to run some option too tonight.
That's a great point. And Coach Voss, we saw last week, you and I were calling the game, and we saw Jefferson turn into from a completely different offense in previous weeks to an option offense, a wing T option offense. And what's your thoughts defensively as we know that the senior Dahl is a big part at middle linebacker. He's the leader. Tell me about what the linebackers have to do out of that wing T offense.
Well, your linebackers have to make sure they fit that run gap properly. They can't just, you can't run around blocks. You got to get underneath them. You got to take on blocks and beat them. Brandon did a really good job against that option last week, I thought. It used to be back in the day you'd see option all the time, and now when you don't see it, just like Mike was saying, you've got to really make sure you spend the time getting your kids schooled up on option responsibility.
And your links are being introduced on your screen, right in front of your screen. We're going to touch on our Lynx TV sponsors. They are, the anchor sponsors are going to be Avera Medical Group, McGreevy here in Brandon, Sanford Clinic Family Medicine in Brandon, Service First Federal Credit Union, and Sanford Orthopedics. The founding members are Alliance Communications, Brandon Lumber Company, Brandon Ace Hardware, Brandon Pharmacy, American Family Insurance, Josh Koob Agency Incorporated, Heartland Funeral Home and Cremation Services, Sunshine Food Store, and Today's Family Dentistry. The platinum sponsors are Sanford Health, Sioux Valley Energy, Alliance Communications, Coca-Cola Bottling, and Midco Communications. The pride sponsors are Architecture Incorporated, Hinkle Electronic Materials, LLC, McDonald's, and Michael's Fence. Thank you, sponsors. You are the reason that we're able to bring this live to you, this huge matchup in the semifinals between your Lynx and the O'Gorman Knights. Make sure you go out and sponsor. And by sponsoring, it means you go out to these businesses and introduce
them.
yourself and maybe spend a little bit of your money out there. So we're going to be focusing here a little bit on the national anthem, and we'll go over a couple of our key players tonight for the Lynx, but I'm going to hand it over to the national anthem.
Legion Post 131. God bless our veterans and active military and all they do for our nation and our local communities. Proper etiquette is to remove all headwear. Face the flag and put your right hand over your heart. Active duty military personnel and veterans not in uniform may salute the flag. Playing our national anthem will be the Brandon Valley Trumpet Line under the direction of Drum Major Nicole Hansen. Please sing loud and proud, ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.
Thank you. So, coaches, I'm gonna hand it off to the coaches. First with Coach Kleinens. Tell me some key players on offense that's going to be key tonight for the Lynx to win this game.
Well, we saw, first of all, Brandon Valley introduce their defense. So I am assuming and hoping that we won the toss and we deferred. So that's one thing. If we can get them on a 3 and out, I think we've got to get Dewey comfortable back there. It's a big game. I know all games are big, but this is win or go home. It's that. So you want to keep things where he feels comfortable and to what he can run. Move the ball around. The running game has been good. I've been so impressed with how their offensive line is coming around for Brandon Valley. So I think that'll be the big key is, can the offensive linemen control them? Can the defense get a 3-and-out on this first kickoff? If they do that, that's a big plus.
And Coach Voss, tell us a little bit about our defense.
Defensively, they've played really well all year. They kind of have the bend but don't break mentality a little bit. They're not a big defense, but they do get, they can get pressure on a quarterback. So if they can get them into throwing downs, they're really good at rushing the quarterback. They cover well in the secondary. So we just got to make sure we make those good plays on first and second down to get them into that third and long, get them into the third and medium. So they got to put the ball in the air.
And offensively, we know where it all starts. It starts up front. As if we go left to right, left tackle to right tackle, we go number 65 Myers, number 58 Bunkers, 67 Copel, 61 Wydula, and 75 Shunky. And you're also going to add in there a really good blocking tight end and a pass-catching tight end in Carroll.
Yep.
And then the unsung hero, I think, especially coming on late in the season, and especially last week, was Mr. Nelson, number 82.
Micah Nelson, the last 2 weeks he's played really well. He never carries the ball. He's not a running back. He's a tight end lined up in the backfield. He catches the ball on that play action, but he is a fantastic lead blocker.
Yeah, and we see a lot of him in the I formation in front of Johnson and Whitty and even Egan. We've seen a lot of Whitty come in, and number 21 for the Lynx at running back, the sophomore, and he's played a huge role in these games. So Nelson will be your fullback, like Coach said. And defensively, it's going to start up front, too, as Warren, number 4, number 57, Tucker, 70, Johnson, and 84, Jefferson. We know that it all starts with the senior class, too, these leaders. The leaders have to put, you're going to have some young kids. You talked about Thuy, Coach, how they got to make him comfortable, but it's going to start with that leadership on this field and then coming from the locker room to on this field. And the coaching staff also, what a tremendous job they've done.
Yeah, the one thing we've always preached, and I think Coach Christensen and Coach Garrow have done the same thing, is the only people you care about is the guy on the left of you and the guy on the right of you, because the three of you got to work together and you got to sacrifice whatever you got to do for those guys. So I think Brandon Valley's in that mentality. I would be surprised if they kicked this ball to Jones, number 14. He's a pretty decent return man. Coach Tillison said right away, we're going to keep the ball out of their best return man's hands. That's good philosophy.
So back deep to start this game is number 14, Jones, and they're going to kick it into the end zone. That's going to be Brummels with a big kick. You talked about it, Coach, right away to start this game. It's keeping out of the hands of those returners, and that's what he just did. So offensively, the O'Gorman Knights are going to come out with the running back, and that's going to be Maverick Jones, number 14, like you touched on. One of the big keys is going to be number 2, Dannenbring. So they're going to come out of a trip formation to the right. Dannenbring's going to be in the shotgun. He's going to be with his running back. He's going to give it to Jones, and it's going to be a minimal gainer out to about the 24, 25-yard line. So it's going to bring up a second down and about 6 yards to go. This opening drive for the Knights, they're moving left to right, all in white. Brandon Valley, your Lynx are all in black. Dannenbring with Jones with him. He gives it to Jones again. He's going to cut off the left side, and he is met by at least 5 Lynx defenders.
That's what they need. They need to make those good plays on first and second down to get him in a third and longish.
That would have been easier just to name who wasn't in on the tackle, because I think there was only 2 of them. They really ran to the ball well.
They really did, and the Lynx are. This is already. We'll harp on it all night tonight, folks at home, and wherever you're at. If you're watching it, wherever you are outside, I see a whole bunch of fans outside too watching the game. So Dannenbring out of the shotgun, 2 receivers to his right, and it looked like
it was bad
a botched snap, but Dannenbring's going to roll. He's going to heave it down the field.
He's
looking
struck.
for number.
Good defense.
And great defense by the Lynx, and I believe that's going to be Bisbee on the coverage. The intended wide receiver is going to be stuck for the Knights. Punting formation, I believe, for the Knights coming up here. Deep is going to be Egan for the Lynx at about the 40-yard line. Struck's going to be back to punt for the Knights. And he gets off a low bouncing one. Egan's going to let it go. The whole team better let it go. And they're going to start. Your Lynx are going to start at about the 37-yard line. Opening drive, opening defense. Tell me a little bit about what you saw, coaches, defensively there.
Well, what they did, they bent a little bit on first down, gave up 6 yards, but then they made 2 huge plays. And they got a break on third down there with that botched snap, and it kind of threw the timing for O'Gorman off. Struck had a chance to go up and get that, but Bisbee made a really good play to knock that down.
And I think Struck's going to be a key for them. You know, he's 6'3", and he can win a lot of jump balls. So, you know, you got to know where he's at. Hagee, you got to know where he's at.
You know where Struck is. He's on the field every play because he plays offense, defense, punts.
Lynx starting at first down and 10 from the 38. It's kind of a spread formation with one back. He's going to keep. No, it's going to be Noah Thompson out of the Wildcat. And Thompson is a big gainer. Lead block from Johnson there. A little bit of a wrinkle right away to start this ball game out. Thompson usually sitting at the safety position, or excuse me, the corner position for the Lynx. The coaches told me they heard a little bit about maybe we may see 3 quarterbacks tonight
that was
for
mentioned.
the Lynx.
Yep.
Shotgun formation for Thuy. 1 receiver to his left and right. 2 running backs. And it's going to be Thompson again. I apologize. And Thompson's going to get a big gainer. He's going up the sideline. And is he going to be in? He is. He did not step out of bounds. Wow. Touchdown.
What a start.
Lynx.
What a way to start.
Noah Thompson coming in at quarterback. It's really the Wildcat offense. You know he's probably not going to throw the ball.
Nope.
But great blocking in front of him as the lead. They led block, I believe, with 2 running backs there in Egan and Johnson.
Yeah, when you run the quarterback, you gain a blocker, and when your quarterback is that athletic, you can really make some yardage happen.
Brummel's on to kick. Skolton to hold. Extra point is good, so your Lynx now in the beginning of this game early, really early, with 9:43 to go. It is 7-0 in this big semifinal game.
Boy, I tell you what, if you want to keep Thuy calm, give it to that other guy and keep the ball out of his hands.
I like the wrinkle. I absolutely like the wrinkle. You got to put points on the board. It's going to be somewhat of a defensive game, I believe. Both teams know each other really well, so these surprises are really going to make a big difference. In coaches, we know special teams make a huge difference.
Yeah. And I don't know that O'Gorman is surprised to see Noah back there taking snaps. I think the surprise was that he was doing it in the first and second play of the game.
Yeah.
So back deep for the Knights, you're going to have, it looks like, number 84, and that's going to be, let me get the number here, or the name. It's going to be Satter, and we can't get the other number
Maverick
over
Jones,
there.
Jones. It should be Jones.
All right, Jones and Satter back deep for the Knights. And as it's been all season, Brummel's on to kick off.
Yeah, don't be afraid to kick it in the end zone again. That's a pretty good defensive play for you.
And there's a big, big kick, and they're not going to have a chance as it goes out of bounds. Man, Brummel's has a big leg, doesn't he, Coach?
He certainly does tonight, yes.
So that's where the O'Gorman Knights are going to start. They're going to start it at the 20-yard line as both kickoffs have been in the end zone, giving those returners no chance. Lynx defense on the opening series came up big, forced a 4 and out. Now let's see what they can do. The adjustments are going to be being made now as both teams have seen each other offensively and defensively. Dannenbring in the shotgun with Jones with him, 2 receivers to his right. He motions the tight end. They look to the tight end. No, they're going to hit number 9. That's going to be Hage. Or I believe Hagee. What are we going to call it?
Peyton Hagee.
Peyton Hagee. I think I saw something this week. Maybe it was on Kelloland or somewhere. It's not KSFY anymore, right? It's Dakota News?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. So one of those two did a special on number 9 there, I believe. That he's one of the top targets
I
for
have
Dannenbring.
not seen it, but I've heard people talk about it, yes. He made a great catch off a tip ball like 2 weeks ago, I think.
Dannenbring out of the shotgun again. He's going to give it to Jones. No, he's going to keep it. And it's going to be a minimal gain up to about the 37-yard line as he's going to gain 2 yards, brings up a second down.
Yeah, that was a good read by Dannenbrink. He just ran the read option, and the defensive end for Brandon Valley went upfield. So he keeps the ball and just gets what he can get. Brandon Valley did a great job of getting to the ball.
Shotgun formation again. He has a fullback, and that fullback does a lot of motioning. It's kind of a hybrid tight end. He drops back. He's going to look for number 26. That's going to be struck, and it's going to be caught. One thing about Dannenbring, coaches, is that he transferred from Roosevelt to O'Gorman. His older brother, I think, is the quarterback for Northwestern now, I believe. I think he went to Northwestern. He was a really good quarterback for Roosevelt. So it's in their bloodlines, obviously, the Dannenbring bloodlines. Shotgun formation for Dannenbring, motions the running back and wide receiver to his right. That's going to be struck. He gives it to Jones. No, play action. He's going to get it to number 84. That's going to be Saturn, and that's going to be the 3rd consecutive first down of this drive, and it's really all came from the air.
Yep, just little short passes.
We'll see what the adjustment Coach Christensen and his defense are going to make here. Let's see if they do go a little, because I think it's kind of holding the pass rush a little bit, those quick passes, but also with Dannenbring being able to run, it's going to hold a lot of those linebackers still also.
Well, yeah, when he fakes that dive, the linebackers got to honor that.
Shotgun formation for Dannenbring, motions his fullback. He's going to give it to Jones, and he's going to be brought down with about another 2-yard gain on first down, brings up second down and 8 from about the 37-yard line.
That's Owen Warren making another play there. He already made one good play on this drive, on that option play.
And Owen Warren, remember, he was the middle linebacker last year.
Yes.
Just started off. They moved him to defensive end late in the year last year, and he's been super successful since moving to defensive end. Shotgun formation for Dannenbring. He's got Jones. Jones motions, and Dannenbring's going to keep it with the lead block. No, it's going to be almost intercepted by the star of the last series on offense, Noah Thompson.
Yep. That was a great read.
So you thought that Dannenbring was going to run it there. He just pulls up. Is that designed, guys?
That was a pretty good play design. Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely designed.
Brings up a huge 3rd down in the first quarter already. 3rd and 8 from the 37-yard line, and Dannenbring number 2 in the shotgun. Jones, and he's got his receivers 2 to the right. He's going to motion struck to the left, so you got 2 receivers to his left. Play action. There's a flag on the play. It's going to be completed to number 8,
I'm not
that's
sure why
going
they
to
didn't
be
kill that right away.
Rush Landry with the reception. We'll see what the penalty flag's going to be called on. Because if it's false start, does it stop the play?
I thought it does automatically.
So I believe it's going to be encroachment, I think, on the Lynx because they continued the play. We'll see.
Yeah, where the flag came from, I don't know. It's got to be O'Gorman.
It's going to be false start on O'Gorman, so that's going to nullify.
It looked like the motion back turned upfield prior to the snap to me.
Good eyes, coaches. There's where the false start comes from, but it's going to nullify that big 3rd down pickup there, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down. It went from 3rd down and 8 to 3rd down and 13, it's not quite as manageable for that offense. Dannenbring with a receiver to his right, 2 to his left. He's got Jones to his left also. Drops back, looking to his left. He's going to find his receiver wide open, but overthrown, and that could have been intercepted.
Yeah, he was fortunate he overthrew it, actually.
So as Dannenbring overthrows, we'll see. It looks like they may be going for it, folks, as it is 4th down and 13. Big call from this offensive staff. I wonder if it's going to be a fake.
Oh, I'll tell you what.
It doesn't take this long to signal in punt from the sidelines. So
shotgun formation. Play clock is at 8 seconds. Dannenbring out of the shotgun. 3 receivers with a tight end with them. They're going to motion to the left. Here they do snap it. They're looking. Number 12's open, and it's going to be completed. That's going to be number 12. It's going to be Koenig on the reception. As we've seen a couple, when we got the starting lineup, coaches, the 2 last receivers that have caught the ball weren't even in our starting lineup, so they're 6 deep.
Well, I'll explain that here in a minute.
Shotgun formation for Dannenbring. Jones to his right with a trip set. They're going to give it to Jones. He's going to scamper up the middle for a gain of about 2 yards.
Sometimes, when during the regular season you have some kids playing that you can get by with them playing, but when you get to the playoffs, you got to have your horses. So sometimes you have to pull a kid out, put another kid in that's maybe a senior that has more experience and can get you by. I know Brandon Valley talked about that the other day, that there's going to be some kids on special teams that are not going to be playing.
Shotgun formation for Dannenbring. He gives it to Jones, and he's going to gain about 2 to 3 yards. It's going to bring up a 3rd down in about 5 yards to go, maybe 4 yards. But we know if they don't pick it up, they're probably going to go for it again.
Yeah.
If they went for it with 3rd and 13 at about the 37, 38-yard line, they're certainly going to go for it down here. Brings up another big 3rd down, 3rd and 4 for your Lynx defense. Dannenbring out of the shotgun, 3 receivers to his right. Let's see if they motion that slot. They do. And they're going to give it to Jones. No, it's play action. He's going to look for his receiver. And it is almost intercepted, and I believe that's going to be number 7 for your Lynx.
Max Van Westen.
Van Westen, like Coach just said.
2 picks last week.
That's right. That's a good call, Coach. Looks like they're going to bring on that field goal unit. We were completely wrong.
Well, I think you got to get some points out of this drive. You held the ball a long time.
So it looks like these numbers are hard to read. I believe it's number 25.
Is it 15 maybe? Andrew Nelson is the kicker.
All right, number 15. That's going to be Nelson on to kick, and it is good. So the Knights put up their first points of the ball game. Good stand by the Lynx as they gave up. Sometimes a 4th down, when it's 4th down and 13 especially, and they gain that 1st down, that's kind of a deflator.
And it tells you they have a lot of confidence in their quarterback and their receiver. I talked field position is so important. Well, apparently not to O'Gorman. They'll go for it.
And your Brandon captains tonight, your Lynx captains are Peyton Carroll, Ryan Dahl, Brady Copel, Noah Thompson, Dominic Tucker, and Sam Wydula. So we have a 7-3 ball game. Hopefully we get a score update pretty soon on the matchup on the other side of the fence with Lincoln and Harrisburg. Harrisburg is hosting that game. I think it's been quite a while, coaches, since we've not had a semifinal game in Sioux Falls.
In Sioux Falls, you're correct.
It has to be quite a while. So hats off to Brandon Valley and Harrisburg. All right, and that's going to be, let's see who's on to kick for the Knights, and that's going to be number 15, Nelson, back deep. I believe Noah Thompson and Whitty.
I wouldn't want to kick to either one of those two.
Exactly. Nelson with the left-footed kick. It looks like Noah Thompson's going to get it at about the 7-yard line. He's going to burst up the middle, and he's going to be brought down at about the 30-yard line. So about 23-yard gain. That's a big gainer from that kickoff position and gains a big field position. You guys talked about tonight, coaches, field position is going to play a big part. You talked about that in the pregame.
Yeah. You know, you don't want to look at time of possession either because Brandon Valley only ran like 2 plays.
Right.
You know, O'Gorman had the ball the whole first quarter.
Shotgun formation for, well, we'll see what number it is. We can't see from here. Is it going to be Thompson? No, it's going to be Thuy. Thuey's going to give it off to Johnson. He's going to be tacked up there by a host of Knights, and it's going to be a minimal gain of about 2 yards. So now we see Thuy, number 12, for the Lynx offense back there at quarterback.
I think he's got Slack coming back in now.
We'll see what we have back at quarterback. It is Slack. Slack with Johnson to his left. Fake pitch, and Slack's going to big gainer up the middle. He breaks a tackle, breaks 2 tackles, and he's going to go up to about the 50-yard line. So we haven't seen a lot of Slack in the last few games, number 8, but we know he's very, very mobile, and he can throw the ball.
Those coaches weren't kidding about playing 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
They played 3 in the first 4 plays.
Now we have Slack out of the shotgun, 3 receivers to the right, and Carroll's in motion from right to left, your tight end. Johnson with Slack. Slack's going to put it up. It is incomplete as it's behind his receiver, intended for Skolton. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and 10 from the 49.
Peterson breaking up the play. Bring up a 2nd down and 10.
In at quarterback now is Thuy. We're going to try to stay ahead of this game a little bit, folks. It gets a little confusing. Thuy out of the shotgun, 3 receivers to his right, and he's going to give it to Johnson, and he's met in the backfield by number 4, and that's going to be Alpers on the tackle. What a great read by that linebacker.
Yeah, he's actually a D end.
Yeah.
Is he? Okay.
Yep.
Well, there you
He
go.
just came down the line of scrimmage.
Thuy is back, still in at quarterback, as Coach Voss said. We've seen 3 quarterbacks already, and there's 2:45 to go in the first quarter. Shotgun formation, Nelson's right to Thuey's left, and I believe we're going to have a timeout. It's going to be timeout Lynx. The Lynx use their first timeout. We'll go over our sponsors again for Lynx TV. The anchor sponsors are Avera Medical Group McGreevy here in Brandon, Sanford Clinic Family Medicine in Brandon, Service First Federal Credit Union, and Sanford Orthopedics. The founding members are Alliance Communications, Brandon Lumber Company, Brandon Ace Hardware, Brandon Pharmacy, American Family Insurance Josh Koob Agency Incorporated, Heartland Funeral Home and Cremation Services, Sunshine Food Store, and Today's Family Dentistry. The platinum sponsors are Sanford Health, Sioux Valley Energy, Alliance Communications, Coca-Cola Bottling, and Midco Communications. We will get to your pride sponsors in just a moment.
It's a big down here for the Lynx.
Shotgun formation for the Lynx. It's going to be Thuy as they're going to wind the clock. Motions Carroll from right to left. He's got Johnson right beside him in the backfield. He fakes to Johnson. No, that's going to be Slack at quarterback, but he's going to find his big tight end, number 80, Carroll, for the first down. So I said Thuy, right, in the beginning, and then all of a sudden it was Slack.
He did a great job. That was his 3rd read. You could tell watching his head. He went through his progression, and that was his 3rd read.
Thuey's back in now.
There you go. We're gonna have to have somebody watching the sideline for this quarterback change. Thuey out of the shotgun. Nelson to his left at fullback. Tight formation with one receiver to his right. He gives it to Johnson. Led block by Nelson. He's going to be brought down right away. Maybe a minimal gain of about 1 yard for Johnson.
Yeah, that one really didn't have a lot of chance. Brandon Valley, they pulled the guard to try to get out there and kick out block, and he got tripped up on the way over, so they were one blocker short.
So far, the running game, besides Noah Thompson on the first drive with those 2 runs, it's been bottled up by that defense for the Knights.
O'Gorman's playing that inside run pretty well.
Shotgun formation, and I believe that is Thuey. It is. Nelson to his left. He's going to motion his tight end from right to left with Johnson right to his right. Play action. Thuey drops back. It is intercepted as it was double covered, and that's going to be number 18, and that's going to be John White, the senior corner for the Knights. So we have our first turnover of the ball game. You talked about it, Coach, earlier. You got to get the quarterback comfortable.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to question our coaching staff ever, but you don't really get comfortable when you're coming in and out.
He threw into double coverage too. I mean, that guy behind and in front, and that was just not a good read.
Shotgun formation given to Jones. Jones going to cut up to his left. A good cut by number 14, Jones, and that's going to move the chains for the Knights, and that's going to be a first down. Big series for both teams. You always want to capitalize on turnovers. Let's see if the Lynx can either get a turnover defensively or make a big stop again from that defensive side. Dannenbring looking over to his sideline. They're giving the call. Looks like they're going to audible out of what they wanted. 3 receivers tight to the formation, and they're going to give it to White again. And that audible, coaches, didn't work. It's going to be a gain of about 1 or 2.
So 1 yard play,
Yeah.
So it's going to bring up a second down. They're going to call it a gain of 3. So gain of 3. So 2nd and 7 with about 14 seconds to go in this first quarter. Dannenbring with 2 receivers to his right. That's going to be a tight end. It's a double tight end formation. They're going to motion their tight end from right to left. And that's going to be the end of our first quarter in this huge semifinal game. It's the Final Four, folks, tonight here in South Dakota in the 11 AAA. We'll get you a score here in just a little bit with the Harrisburg-Lincoln game. They started at 6, but this ball game right here that you're watching is 7-3, Lynx on top of the Knights. Your pride sponsors are Architecture Incorporated, Hinkle Electronic Materials, LLC, McDonald's, and Michael's Fence.
Harrisburg up on Lincoln 14-0 with 4.5 to go in the third.
So there's our score. Thank you, Coach, for that. And I have to read you another, if you were paying attention last week, which some of you may have been, when between quarters, or you may have got up and did something else, but we're gonna. I have to flip through here to get a different one, Coach. I mean, we're gonna see here. Well, we're gonna go back to it. Simple math. I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? You get less division. High school sports have this down to a science, looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us. Look no further than high school sports here in South Dakota. This message is presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association. I always have a hard time, and
kind of a tongue twister,
multiple times with calling Lynx basketball games and football games. because we're always in the playoffs, and we're always going deep in the playoffs, and it's just a luxury here in Brandon.
Yep.
So, coaches, out of that first quarter, tell me a little bit. I mean, it's really the field position hasn't really played a part yet, but we've seen a turnover. We've seen the defense play a big part from the Lynx.
Yeah, and that was a great end of the quarter because Mac Van Westen came out with an ankle injury, and they were able to tape him up and get him ready. And during that quarter change, he was able to go back onto the field. So they can't pick on the new kid.
Dannenbring out of the shotgun. It's going to be 2nd down and 7. He's got Johnson with him with the fullback. They're going to give it to Johnson. No, it's play action, and he overthrows his intended receiver. That's going to be Hagee, number 9. Peyton Hagee has 1 catch on the night so far, and it was a big catch on their drive. It's going to bring up a big 3rd down and 7. Remember, they haven't crossed that 50-yard line, so to me, if there's a stop here on 3rd down, I don't think they go for it on 4th down.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Dannenbring out of the shotgun. He's got Johnson to his left, 2 receivers to his left also with a fullback and wide receiver to his right. And then there's going to be movement on that offensive line, I believe, and it's going to be a false start from the Knights. That's going to be their 2nd false start of the game.
Yep.
Unfortunately, the last drive, it didn't matter. They picked up that big 3rd down.
No, they were able to overcome that one. If depending on what they gain here, I think this will become a punting situation. If the Lynx can get a stop.
2 receivers to Dannenbring's left. Same formation before the penalty. They move that tight end again out to the seam, and Dannenbring's going to throw it up. It is almost caught by number 12, and that's going to be, let's get that number here, is going to be Koenig again with the intended receiver, number 12, but it is overthrown. And I didn't see, coaches, was there a lot of pressure there?
Yeah, he was throwing off his back foot, but he still threw it a long way.
Number 25.
But there's so much air under the ball that Brandon Valley had a chance to recover.
On to punt. It's going to be actually number 26, Struck, and it's going to be fair caught by Egan. And that's where your Lynx offense is going to start, at the 35-yard line.
That was a big stop there. O'Gorman keeps kind of running that same route. They're just flooding the zone high and low. On that 3rd down play, they just had to run those routes farther, which is why the quarterback kind of got pressured because he ran out of time with a longer route.
If you guys can get me the quarterback, you tell me. Quarterback in the shotgun. Nelson to the right. It's going to be Slack. He's going to, with the quarterback keeper, and O'Gorman knew it was coming. It's going to be a loss of yards on 1st down. It's going to bring up a 2nd down and about, I believe, 11. So a loss of 1 for the Lynx. Slack's going to stay in at quarterback. Remember the last series, Thuy threw an errant pass in double coverage, and it was intercepted.
I think it might be smart at this time to let Slack stay and alternate your quarterbacks on series. Let him stay until they lose the ball, then bring Thuy back in. I think in and out, like you said, it's tough on a quarterback. You're not getting any rhythm.
I agree. And in a semifinal game, you want rhythm. I agree with you, Coach. Slack. I mean, I'm not saying Thuy's done a wonderful job in the absence of Slack. To have a sophomore come in and win an opening round game against a Sioux Falls school, that's pretty good.
Yeah, very, very good.
And so Slack gives you a little more experience. He's been in these type of games, but he does have a sophomore in the backfield too, in Whitty right now, as they're going to come up on a 3rd down and 8. And Slack's going to look. He's going to find his receiver. No, it's going to be batted down by number 72. And that's going to be Dominic Skolton. As what do they teach those defensive linemen? If you can't get to the quarterback, what do you do?
Get your hands up. Get your hands up when he puts it in his back.
And Giles is going to be on to kick, number 13 for the Lynx. Back deep, I believe, is going to be Struck, and we'll get the other number for you in just a moment. Big punt from Giles, and that's going to be number 12, Koenig. Well, they say it's Konechki.
Yep, Konechki.
There you go, Konechki. I apologize, folks. And I apologize to the Knights fans that are watching, too. If your parents are watching, I apologize, too. All right, that's going to bring up a first down and 10 from about, it looks like about the 34, 33-yard line, and they're going to give it to Jones. He's going to burst up the middle, a big gainer from Jones. You can hear that crowd over on the other sideline as Jones was just spinning and spinning all the way down, breaking tackles, crosses the 50, brings up a big first down for the Knights.
Yeah, he hit that seam really quick and just kept his legs moving forward. We just got to squeeze down the gaps. The Lynx still on the D-line, and the linebackers got to fill that.
First down and 10 from the 47-yard line. Dannenbring out of the shotgun again with two receivers to his left. They're going to give it to Jones for the second consecutive time. He is going to gain about 5-6 yards. He's not a real big running back, but he breaks a lot of tackles, and he's moving piles.
He's got his pads low, and he's going north and south. He's not trying to get out to the outside.
And we're talking about a sophomore here, folks, number 14, Maverick Jones, and he sits at 5'11", 160 pounds. Shotgun formation, two receivers to Dannenbring's left. He's going to give it to Jones again. He's going to pick up the first down and more as he just keeps on moving the pile.
Yeah, they're running toward that tight end side now pretty consistently.
So here's the change, coaches, from the coaching staff, the offensive coaching staff on the other side of the field. They've decided, the pressure's heavy on Dannenbring. He's been overthrowing things. They're going to run the ball, and that's the fourth consecutive time for Jones.
It's kind of Coach Zer's philosophy, too. You run it until they stop you from running it.
Yeah.
And Jones comes up a little bit limpy. He's going to go to the sideline, number 24. That's going to be Carter Peterson in, the senior running back for the Knights. And Dannenbring out of the shotgun, three receivers to his right, one to his left in the tight formation. He's going to complete the pass out to the flats, and that's going to be to number 84. And I believe that's going to be Satter with the catch. But that's going to move the chains. First down for the Knights. These long drives, you see that on the ground a lot when they commit to the ground, and really that pass was an extension, kind of like a running play. Shotgun formation for Dannenbring, and he's going to give it to number 24, and that's going to be Peterson. And he's going to gain a chunk of yards also, and it's going to bring up about second down and 2. The Lynx really have to find a way to stop this run. Obviously, the Knights' offensive line's doing a good job.
One thing you start seeing is that split end on the right side. He's in tight, and he's not cracking back, but he's coming down and sealing sometimes.
And that's going to be number 24 again. Yes, Carter Peterson with his second carry. Is it going to move the chains? It is. It's going to be a first down for the Knights. As we saw Jones kind of limp off. I think he had 4 or 5 carries consecutively. Maybe he was just tired. I know I would be. Shotgun formation for Dannenbring, number 2, the quarterback for the Knights. 2 receivers to his left. They're going to give it for the third consecutive time to number 24. There's a flag that came in.
I was going to say that's either a really good block or a hold, one of the two.
So coach is calling it a really good block or a hold, but we do have a player down on the field, and I believe that's going to be the running back that came in. Number 24, Carter Peterson. It's going to be holding for the third time in the first half from the Knights. No, it's the first holding call the third penalty offensively for the Knights. The other 2 penalties were false starts.
Yep, Carter Peterson.
Coach took out his binoculars. Man, you're prepared, Coach. Boy.
I've spent a lot of time in a press
You have
box.
binoculars over there too, Heidi?
No, I have better eyes than him.
All right. So that's going to – we got about 6:40 to go in the first half. With the penalty, that's going to drive the Knights back to about the 22-yard line. It's going to bring up a first down and 18 off that holding penalty. Coach, you were right. It's either a really good block or holding. Well, it was holding.
It was holding, yep.
Shotgun formation for Dannenbring. I believe he has Peterson back in the game. No, it's going to be 84. That's going to be Satter with the carry. And he's going to gain about 5, maybe 6 yards. I believe it's going to be 5 yards. As you see that Jones that gained a big chunk of yards on his 4 or 5 carries earlier in this drive has not came back yet.
And Satter's the wide receiver, so I was surprised to see him back in that I formation.
So they're going to go 3 deep so far in the running back kind of a lineup, if that's what you want to call it. Dannenbring out of the shotgun, and he's going to have Satter right to his right, his tight end. He's going to motion him into an empty package. They're going to look to the flats. They got Satter. He drops it. And it's going to bring up a third down in 13 for the Lynx defense. So, coaches, you don't get it here. Do you put more points on the board? Obviously, their kicker's pretty good. Or do you go for it on 4th down to try to take the momentum and the air out of this crowd in that sideline for the Lynx?
I think it depends a lot on how
much?
much of it they get.
Yeah. Ask me that question after this play.
Okay. Dannenbring out of the shotgun. He's going to have Satter with him. No, it's going to be Jones back in the game, and it is overthrown to number 8, and that's going to be Landry from the wide receiver position. And the kicking game's going to come out.
You definitely kick it here on 4th and 13.
For the Patriots. Or, excuse me, I just said Patriots. Knights. Number 15's on to kick. That's going to be Struck, held by number 7. And that's going to be Gross into hold. The kick is up. And it looks good, and it is good. We have a 1-point ball game. It is 7-6. Your Lynx defense. Hats off to the Lynx defense, though.
They've
bent a lot. Okay, but when it gets into that red zone from the 20 to the goal line, they've really stood tall.
Yep, and it made a difference that Maverick Jones came out too. That's when they quit bending and started making plays.
And that's a good point from Coach there, as we saw Jones gain a whole bunch of yards in the beginning of that drive, came out for quite some time, and that kind of stalled him. And also that holding call.
Yeah.
So what a ball game we have here in Brandon, South Dakota on this beautiful football weather night, as your Lynx are up 7-6 in this semifinal game to go to the Dome. One of these teams tonight will punch their ticket to go to the Dome. And I believe that's in 2 weeks. Am I correct?
No, it's next week.
Oh, it is next week.
Yep.
Okay. Well, there's
tomorrow.
your answer. And Struck's going to be on to kick. He's a left-handed kick or left-footed kicker, and they're not going to give the deep backs any chance. It's going to be taken by number 84, and that's going to be Jefferson. Jefferson plays a lot of defensive end for the Lynx. Thuey's going to be at quarterback for your Lynx. They're going to start it at the 30-yard line. Good field position. Let's see if the Lynx can drain this clock, get some points, get that momentum going into halftime.
Especially since they get the ball to start the second half.
Shotgun formation for Thuey. He's got Nelson right to his right. I believe, with Johnson. Johnson's got a big hole. It is collapsed by number 18, and that's going to be John White, and he's going to be the defensive back for the Knights.
That's Brandon Valley's butter play, or the bread and butter play. They run that power game, and the fullback just didn't make the block that time.
And we gave a lot of props to Nelson. We know Nelson will play a big part in this football game as we go on. I formation, we have not seen that from the Lynx yet in this ball game, and we finally see it. Nelson, Whitty deep.
Well, they're bringing
It
the
is
house.
given to Whitty. They bring the house, like Coach said, a lot of blitzing. And we have a new quarterback in the game after one play is Struck's back in the game. Slack. Woo.
I'm sure Struck's in the game, too.
Yeah,
I see him out
he
there.
doesn't-
He's somewhere
doesn't
over there.
leave.
We've said his name a lot tonight. Slack back to the huddle from the sideline. 3rd down and 7 from the 33. The crowd's getting loud over on the Knights sideline. Shotgun formation. Slack with his sophomore running back, number 21, Whitty. 2 receivers to his left. He's looking to his left. He's got a receiver, and it's open. They finally. It's been a couple games since they've found Skolton, number 3, for the Lynx, but he's been a tremendous receiver all year, and they find him right up the seam. And that's going to move the chains for the Lynx as they're going to move it up to about the 43-yard line.
Everything was done well. It was a good route. It was a good throw, good protection.
They
That's what
picked
you
up
need.
the blitz on the corner guy coming in. Yeah, they did everything well.
Shotgun formation for Slack. He's going to look to his left. He's got Carroll. Great coverage, and that's going to be by number 26.
That's
Struck.
That's going to be Struck. Now I got it right.
Yeah.
You guys had it right. I didn't have it right.
You can just probably say his name every time. He's going to be somewhere around.
So it's going to bring up a big 2nd down. Every down's big in this ball game. When you have a 1-point ball game, you're trying to get to that championship game. Every down's a big down. Slack out of the shotgun. It's an empty package. Let's see if he motions his running back. Here's that
sweep.
play. It's a sweep from Whitty. Great move in the backfield. He breaks open up the sideline and picks up a big 1st down and more. What a spin move from the sophomore Whitty to break that tackle.
That was all Whitty. It wasn't blocked well. He did everything on his own. And I'll tell you what, at this point in time, I'm sorry, he's not a sophomore anymore. He might have been a sophomore in September, but he's played enough that he's not a sophomore.
That's a good point. He's played big in a lot of games so far coming at the end of the season. It's I formation for Slack. He's going to give it to Whitty again. Whitty's going to cut up the middle, and he's going to be met by a host of Knights. I believe it's going to be a 2-yard pickup.
O'Gorman really had that jet sweep sniffed out. They had been well coached on that, and that kid came up exactly where he needed to. He just didn't make a play. Delvon just put a spin on him and beat him.
Like Coach said, put a spin move on him, and it was over. And it wouldn't have surprised me if he found the end zone on that. I formation for Slack in the offense, motions Peyton Carroll to his right to left. Whitty again, play action, rolls right. That's going to be Slack. It's going to be incomplete. Great coverage by number 21, Logan Height. It was intended for number 10, Langrock. And that's going to be the first intended pass for Langrock all night, number 10. Brings up a huge 3rd down with 2:14 to go in the first half. Your Lynx up 7-6. 32-yard line to get to pay dirt as Slack out of the shotgun. 2 receivers to his left, motions Carroll from right to left, and Whitty's going to be the lead block. Slack's going to cut it up. Is he going to gain the 1st down? I think he is.
Very, very close.
Lucas Slack carries the ball. They're going to say it's just short
couple feet.
The Lynx are going to hurry up to the line of scrimmage like they do on every fourth down, but I believe the Knights are going to call a timeout to counter it. Let's see. Did they even tell us? Okay, timeout Knights. First timeout for the Knights on this first half. Both teams have used one timeout. Coaches, this first half has been exciting. We've seen to me, it's really become a chess match between these coaching staffs.
Yeah, it has. Again, maybe not so much field position, but now ball control is very, very important. Brandon Valley had, I think, possibility of 3 picks that they've dropped now. One of those they're going to get. 2 plays ago, they ran the fullback. He's been blocking that defensive end blocking, and this time he slid out into the flat. And he's pretty decent when he gets out in that short route to catch the ball and get some running room.
And we've seen, Johnson, our running back, Jordan Johnson, really splash onto the scene too from the running back position. But I believe you got to utilize Whitty and him tonight.
Yep.
And kind of play that thunder and lightning game with that backfield. It's going to bring up a big 4th and 1. The Lynx are going to hurry to the line of scrimmage.
Thompson's at quarterback now.
Yeah.
Thompson out of the – we're going to call it the Wildcat because he is a defensive back. He's going to have Johnson with him. It's going to be Thompson with the keeper. He's going to gain the first down and more as he keeps on his feet, and he's going to be brought out of bounds, and it's going to be a gain of about 11 yards when they only needed 1.
He's pretty amazing.
So another wrinkle. They're going to keep Thompson out on the field, and Johnson and Nelson are going to come in the backfield with him. Let's see if they use the wide side of the field here with Thompson with the lead back, with the kind of both of those lead backs with him. Thompson motions his tight end left to right. He's going to keep it. He's going to cut up. Good move to gain some yards because that defender had him in the backfield. He may have gained about 3 yards.
We had all but 2 players to the right of our center there. We were way unbalanced to the right side.
So this is the drive the Lynx wanted.
Yeah.
They wanted to bury that clock. They're moving inside the red zone. Everything's going to tighten up inside this red zone as Thompson's going to stay at quarterback. He's going to have Nelson and Johnson right in front of him in this Wildcat formation. He's going to run left. Does he look to throw? No, he's going to cut it up. It's going to be a touchdown for your Lynx as Thompson scores his 2nd touchdown from the Wildcat position. Hey, the Lynx have found something here.
Yeah.
They run that play before, not with him, but that's the play where they pulled Navarro across the formation.
So your Lynx score on this ending drive. The Knights will get it back, but your Lynx right now are up 13-6. Brummel's on to kick to put the Lynx up by 8. The kick is up, and it is good. Your Lynx go on top. They were already on top, but they put that margin a little bit deeper as it becomes harder for the Knights. Seven's already hard to get, but 8's really hard to get. So your Lynx with that drive, we talked about it, coaches, how the beginning of that drive, I think there was like 5:21 to go, and we talked about how we need just that grinding drive, bury the clock, and get points, and that's what the Lynx did.
Yep, they did a good job of controlling the ball there. I was impressed with O'Gorman's timeout on that 4th and 1. Brandon all year has done that. They just go real quick. If they just come up just short of a first down, they'll just go immediately to the line. And O'Gorman was ready for it and took the timeout. Didn't help him out in the end, but it was good coaching.
So Thompson tonight now, 2 touchdowns in the first half out of that Wildcat. But let's flip it over to the defensive side, too. He's broken up a couple passes also.
Yes. Right now their running game is going well. They got it down to a minute left in the first half. Just don't allow anything foolish here to happen. Don't let anybody get behind you.
And Brummel on to kick for the Lynx. That's going to be number 14, Maverick Jones, to receive that kickoff. And it's going to be brought out to about the 21-yard line, and that's where the Knights are going to start with the ball. They do have 2 timeouts remaining in this first half, 52 seconds to go to drive the field. Lynx really have to, do you sit in a prevent and don't let anything deep? But you know, when you have 2 timeouts, that's a ton of time with 52 seconds if you sit in that prevent.
They have a decent field goal kicker, too.
Shotgun formation for Dannenbring. They're going to keep it on the ground. They give it to Jones, and Jones is going to be brought down after a gain of about 7 yards. I think the Lynx will let him get 7 yards and let that clock boil down. Dannenbring out of the hurry up. 2 receivers to his left. He's looking to throw. He's going to be chased by Jefferson. Jefferson's got him, and he is sacked. That's Dannenbring sacked by Jefferson from the defensive end position, number 84, and that's a big loss for the Knights.
Oh, I'd burn a timeout if I was Brandon Valley and make them punt it.
Yeah, that's a good call, Coach. I didn't even, we still have 2 timeouts.
Yeah, you could have called a timeout with 23 seconds to go. He wouldn't throw it again, and it would have been a 4th down.
So the Lynx, they are comfortable with that 8-point lead, 14-6 going into halftime in this huge AAA matchup in the semifinals here in Brandon. And Coach, do you have a score update on that other semifinal game in Harrisburg?
Look it up here. 14-7, 6 minutes to go in the game. Harrisburg is up.
Wow, we have a close one over in Harrisburg. Anybody's ball game, and it's still anybody's ball game here. I believe we're going to have the superintendent tonight. Am I correct? Speaking at halftime with us, Harry Buck's going to interview him, and we'll wait a little bit on that for the superintendent to come up here and tell you a little bit about everything that happens in the school. So we're going to touch on, I have to read one of these things again. Let me see which one I want to read. Should I read the shortest one, guys? Or?
There you go.
Not the longest. All right. The power of participation. Are you worried how 2020 has impacted your teens' social development? We are too. Want to know what might help participating in the performing arts in high school? It's been really hard being a teenager recently. Hard to cope, hard to keep up, hard not to feel like you're missing out. Everything's different and nobody knows what's next. Encouraging your son or daughter to participate in performing arts can really help. Those are high school activities like band, orchestra, choir, theater, speech, and debate. They'll make new friends, develop confidence, and feel the satisfaction of being part of a team. Participation in performing arts aren't a cure-all, and they certainly won't make the pandemic go away, but they will make the teenagers in your family feel like they're part of something special. This message has been presented by the NFHS in the South Dakota High Schools Activities Association. All right, well, I believe we have our superintendent and Harry Buck here, and I'm going to let Harry take it over.
You guys take a little break. Good job. Good game. We have the superintendent of schools, Dr. Jared Larson, with us here at halftime. And Dr. Larson, I appreciate the fact that you took your time here to be here tonight and to come up and visit with us a little bit. About a couple weeks ago, I was at a Chamber of Commerce meeting when Dr. Larson was there and kind of gave an update on things that are going on in Brandon Valley with a lot of potential building projects coming in the future. And so I thought it would be interesting just maybe take a chance to have him kind of update us, now. And so tell me this, what's next? I mean, continually growing school district, always need more room, more space. So where are we at and what's next?
Well, before we get into exactly what's next, I'd just comment on what we just got done with.
Okay.
And that's the construction of Inspiration Elementary down on 41st Street. They're in the south side of our district. On time and under budget, the best kind of construction project. So
exactly.
I would say that that was the most recent one that we have completed. We're obviously finishing up some of those loose ends, as you would with any large construction project. But yeah, that project went extremely well, and it's good to have that one in the books. We've got about 240 kiddos down there, which took a lot of pressure off of Fred Assam, which was right at capacity. So our timeline of getting that built was perfect. In terms of the very near horizon, right now we're really in the initial planning phases of an addition at Brandon Valley High School. Right now we have just over 1,300 students at Brandon Valley High School. Our current school can hold about 1,400 kids, so we're approaching that number, and we need to increase capacity there. So we're in the planning process. Look to bid that project out here this winter, and then start that project here once school gets out and underway. The project is slated to be located on the east side of Brandon Valley High School, with a 2-story portion on the northeast corner. So that's really what's on the very near horizon. Would encourage people, if they're interested, there is an informational video located on the superintendent's website. Just 2022 Brandon Valley High School Edition video. It's a 6-minute video, outlines where the addition will be, what that footprint will look like, and also provides the timeline, etc. So Brandon Valley High School Edition is really on top of mind right now. I am extremely proud to say that there will be no incurred debt on that project. We're able to utilize cash reserves out of our capital outlay fund to completely finance that project, which is an absolutely incredible thing, and certainly speaks volumes to the job done by our finance office and our business manager Paul Lundberg, and the many years of fiscal responsibility and long-term planning that have gone into our success. And it's just, as a taxpayer, as a superintendent, it's just really proud to be able to say we're going to put on a $7-8 million addition that will increase our capacity 600 and take us to that addition will take us up to just over 2,000 students that we could fit at Brandon Valley High School.
I can tell you this on behalf of many of my friends that are seniors. They at the coffee shop, they'll be real happy to find out we don't have to borrow any money. So,
well, there isn't a person out there more cognizant of their property taxes than me, so I understand exactly how they feel.
Okay, so that takes our high school up to a potential for 2,000. How long will it take for us to get there, do you think?
Yeah, well, a while. I mean,
Yeah.
Obviously that additional 600 students, increasing our capacity to 2,000, will take us out a long ways. But in addition to that, we have a long-range facility plan entitled BV Vision 2040. BV Vision 2040 outlines what our school district looks like in the year 2040 when we have over 7,000 students. That's what we estimate having. So right now we have 4,900, and we're looking out to when we have over 7,000. So BV Vision 2040 outlines our long-range facility plan, and within that plan, it's really important for folks to know that we have plans and strategies to make certain that Brandon Valley has one high school. That is something that we've heard time and time again within our community, in our focus groups, and our listening sessions. One high school. How are you going to do it? And we have done that in BV Vision 2040. We've outlined with this addition. We've also outlined that we can utilize our Valley Springs Elementary site. That'll go away when we build an East Side Elementary because we have to alleviate pressure off of Robert Bennis, which is nearing capacity. And then that'll be a specialized academy there for high school students out on that site. And that'll increase our high school capacity even more, all while having the ability to maintain one high school.
So the specialized academy concept, at this point, are we sending students to Sioux Falls for that, or how does that work?
Yeah, great question. We do send students to Sioux Falls to their Career and Technical Education Academy. We buy slots from them, and we do bus kids over to do that. So that would be one potential avenue. The one thing that I would tell you is it's not guaranteed to be a CT academy. It could be a STEM academy. It could be a fine arts academy. It could be a combination of things. I think once we get closer to that decision, we'll really work through a thorough process, investigate and research strategies utilized by school districts all over the country in terms of specialized academy to find what's best for us and what'll meet our needs.
Right. Okay. All right. So after the high school edition, and I have had an opportunity to see a picture of what that's going to look like. It's pretty impressive.
Sure.
Right on the front of our current high school. So that'll be pretty exciting. After that, what next would be another elementary school, or?
Yeah, so after the high school edition, which will be set to open, it's important to note that'll be set to open in the fall of 2023 for the 23-24 school year. So
okay.
If folks are interested in the high school edition, I would really encourage them to go watch that informational video.
Absolutely.
It's 6 minutes long. It gives you a real high level look at that. But after that, we'll start the planning for an East Side Elementary. We have that land over there to the east of Chestnut and off of Redwood, and that's where an elementary school will go, and that's absolutely essential for us to get that built because of Robert Bennis Elementary. Robert Bennis Elementary is a 600 capacity student. It's growing all the time because of the residential growth in and around that building, and they're at 570, I believe. So.
Okay.
It's important for folks to know you don't snap your fingers and build a school.
Right.
It's an 18-month construction process, and then you have another 6 to 12 months tacked onto it when you start talking about potential bond issues, or when you start talking about planning and working with architects and engineers and those various things. So it's certainly a process and takes some time, which is why you got to be out in front of it.
Okay, good. Then even further down the road, what would be after an elementary school?
We get the East Side Elementary built. I think we'll be looking at an intermediate school. That'll be on the south side of our district. We do have land acquired for that intermediate school. That intermediate school, if you go look at BV Vision 2040, I'd encourage anybody who's interested. That's a critical document to look at. That outlines that our South Intermediate School would service Fred Assam, Inspiration, and then our future West Side Elementary would all flow to the south side, where we do have land just south of Inspiration Elementary for that intermediate school. And then our current intermediate school would service Brandon Elementary, Robert Bennis Elementary, and the East Side Elementary. So you can kind of see that funnel.
Right.
When we think about wanting our kids to bleed red and black, and every single one of them's a Lynx,
right.
We think about how that funnel works from that neighborhood elementary school concept up into a couple intermediate schools, into that middle school, and then obviously into our one high school.
Okay, terrific. Well, I appreciate the update, and I would say that, one of the things that I think you were one of the people that initiated it is back in 2017 was the Lynx Way, and that's something that I never get tired of, and it doesn't surprise me, but for those that aren't familiar with the Lynx Way, it's to be respectful, to be responsible, to be kind, to be safe, and to be an active learner. And I can attest that Dr. Larson and his staff and his teachers, it's not just a slogan or a motto with them. They really mean it, and they live by it. And we're excited about all the things that you're doing, Dr. Larson, and thanks again for coming up and visiting with us a little bit today. And just keep up the good work, man.
Awesome. Appreciate it, Harry.
All right.
Go Lynx.
Okay.
And there was Dr. Larson, our superintendent, and Harry Buck interviewing him. What a great interview. Like they talked about what's going on with Lynx, the Lynx school system, and the Lynx Way. We're just proud to be here in Brandon and Brandon Valley and support that Lynx Way and live by that Lynx Way. The sponsors for Lynx TV are the anchor sponsors, Avera Medical Group, McGreevy here in Brandon, the Sanford Clinic Family Medicine in Brandon, Service First Federal Credit Union, Sanford Orthopedics. The founding sponsors are Alliance Communications, Brandon Lumber Company, Brandon Ace Hardware, Brandon Pharmacy, American Family Insurance, Josh Koob Agency Incorporated, Heartland Funeral Home and Cremation Services, Sunshine Food Store, Today's Family Dentistry, and the platinum sponsors are Sanford Health, Sioux Valley Energy, Alliance Communications, Coca-Cola Bottling, and Midco Communications. The pride sponsors are Architecture Incorporated, Hinkle Electronics Materials LLC, McDonald's, and Michael's Fence. Thank you, sponsors, and like I said, what an interview that was, and it's a pleasure to have such a great superintendent and Dr. Larson up here and Harry Buck from Hegg Realtors to come up and actually give the interview. That's a special treat at halftime, so we appreciate them. Coaches, I got the coaches back on the headset, and what do you think, guys? That first half it's just been a burner. We called it in the pregame, but it's lived up to that for 2 quarters.
Yeah, you knew it was going to be a good game because it's 2 really good teams. They're well coached. They've got good players. It's everything we anticipated would happen.
The hard thing is right now, you're working with 16, 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds, and you're saying, okay, guys, it's nothing. And they come out and they see the score. And to get them convinced that we have to play just like we did the first half, we have to have that same intensity.
And so from the first half, and we're going to boil into the second half here, and I think they're going to put about 3 more minutes back on the clock for both teams. But we talk about a coach all the time up here that at halftime it's all about adjustments. Really what's going to win the football game, besides the players playing between the white lines here, is what the coaching staffs have done in the locker room at halftime to adjust. They know that the Knights know that we're going to run probably some Wildcat coming up here. They're going to see 3 quarterbacks. They're going to see Johnson and Whitty in the backfield. They're going to see all of that. They're going to see us what we do defensively. But what adjustments can you make that's going to turn the ball game like it did when they deflated the Knights, and I'm talking about the Lynx offense, in the opening drive when the Knights weren't prepared for that Wildcat offense in Thompson. What can you do at halftime to come out in the second half and show even more of a wrinkle?
Well, as a head coach, that's the difficult part, because when you go in, you have coaches that are assigned to different positions. So they're meeting with their players and they're talking to you. Really don't get an opportunity to talk to your team until that last minute and give them a rah-rah, here we go, guys. So, the coaches walk in, they get together, the defensive coaches, they know they got changes they've got to make. The problem is, and it's just like if you play against a wishbone team, you've changed your defense, and I know they knew the Wildcat was coming. Okay, so you change your defense a little bit to go after that Wildcat, and now it didn't work. Now where do you go?
Right.
You only got 15 minutes to change it up.
Yeah. Here's what I think Brandon offensively probably tried to do at halftime, because the one thing that has been good for them all year is that G power play. And it hasn't been as good tonight, and so they're probably up there. You're in the locker room on the whiteboard trying to figure out how do we change the way we're blocking this. We got to do something a little different, and they can identify what's causing the problem in that power game, and hopefully they can get it blocked in a different direction.
And there's great insight coming out of halftime from both coaches. They've been in many locker rooms where they've had to adjust things at halftime, both coaches beside me. So to open up, the Lynx are going to open up with the ball. They're going to move left to right. It's going to be Spears-Whitty, number 21, back deep for the Lynx, and number 14, really the kind of the MVP of the first half, and Noah Thompson, number 14, back with him, standing at about the 10-yard line.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see that pooch kick again. Those are two dangerous return men.
And Struck is going to be on to kick. No, that's going to be number 15. I apologize. That's going to be Andrew Nelson, number 15, the left-footed kicker for the Knights. And there's a kick, and there's the pooch kick, like Coach said. Number 84, and that's going to be Jefferson. That's the same thing that happened the last kick. Same exact thing. We made a gain about 2 yards on that kickoff. We're going to start at the 35. We talked about defensively. Let's talk a little bit about defense for the Lynx also. We saw a big sack come from number 84 in Jefferson to end that first half.
Yeah, they're Brandon all year has been good at pressuring the quarterback, and it's good to see it's continuing.
And there goes Slack. He's going to give it to Johnson. And really, most of the night from the running back position, okay, they have not found any holes to run through. The Knights really have bottled up our running game besides Noah Thompson and a little bit of Spears-Whitty, but Johnson just hasn't found that spring yet, or whatever you want to call it, that hole to really catapult that offense even further.
No, we're not creating the seams like we have been the past few weeks.
As the Knights are going to be in their 3-4 defense like they've been all night. Carroll motion back. Slack drops to pass. He finds Skolton. Skolton with his second catch of the ball game. And he's going to gain about, let's call it 4 yards. It's going to bring up a 3rd and 4, and already a big 3rd and 4 in the third quarter.
I think that's what you're going to have to see Brandon do a little bit of, is throw those short routes, because they're filling the box to take away the run game, which is Brandon Valley's offensive strength.
And really let your players run after the catch. They call it RAC, R-A-C, and really let that happen. We've seen Slack out of the empty formation already. He's ran the ball, but they're going to give it to Spears-Whitty. I believe it's going to be false start. That's going to be the Lynx' first penalty of this ball game, and it's going to be a legal procedure. So that's going to back up the Lynx to about 3rd and 9 now from about the 41-yard line.
This is where you don't want to make a mistake. You know, get something out of this so you at least have a decision.
Slack out of the shotgun. He's got Spears-Whitty right to his right. 3 receivers also to his right. Play action to Whitty. He finds Carroll. No, it is dropped. From his big tight end, Carroll popped open. Beautiful throw from Slack over the middle. That would have gained the first down. The punting team comes on for the Lynx.
Yeah, Peyton did a good job. He settled right down in the hole of that zone. The ball was delivered right there, just didn't finish the play.
And number 12, Marsh,
Konechny and Jones back deep. Giles with the punt for the Lynx. It is a short punt as all the Knights run away from it. And the Knights are going to start with real good field position starting at the 40-yard line. They're going to say 42-yard line. So Giles on to kick for the Lynx. I believe it probably went about 20, 21 yards there. And that's where the Knights are going to start with great field position in this real field position battle tonight in a tight game. Dannenbring gives it to Jones. Jones is going to break a tackle. No, he's going to be brought down, and that I believe that's going to be number 57. And we're going to have number 57 for the Lynx. That's going to be Dominic Tucker. He's played huge in a lot of games this year. He's kind of an undersized defensive tackle, but it must be really hard to block him.
Well, those guys are quick, too.
Tight formation for the Knights. He's got a fullback and motions that tight end. We'll call it a tight end. He's going to find his receiver over the middle. Basically the same play that the Lynx kind of just ran.
Exactly.
But
right.
that's a completed pass to
Peyton
number
Hagee.
9, Hagee.
And that's what Eric just said. Both receivers, Brandon's and Gorman, they both settled down in that open window. They made the catch. We didn't.
So a lot of zone coverage. Am I correct, coaches,
Yeah,
as we're seeing tonight?
For sure.
Shotgun formation for Dannenbring. They're going to give it to Jones, and Jones is gobbled up for no gain. And that's going to bring up a second down and 10 from about the 44-yard line. Isaac Johnson on for the tackle.
Defensive coaches did for Brandon Valley are working because they're shutting that run game down.
Like we talked about at halftime, it's all about adjustments. Let's see what the Knights try to do. Their running game's not working so far in this drive. They're going to have to throw the ball. Shotgun formation for Dannenbring. He's going to play action to Johnson. He's going to complete it in the seam to number 84. And that's going to be Satter again, his tight end. But it's going to be a minimal gain of about 2 yards. It'll be 3rd and 8. Third down and 8 with just under 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. Lynx sideline is coming to their feet. We've heard the Knights sideline on defense. It's just a battle here, folks, here in Brandon, South Dakota. Shotgun formation for Dannenbring. He's got Jones over to his right. He's going to scramble, heavy pressure from Jefferson and Owen Warren, but it's going to be a completed pass to number 9, Hagee.
Wow.
His favorite receiver so far tonight. I believe that's going to be his 3rd catch of the night.
That was a great job by the receiver. His quarterback was in trouble. He broke his route off, came back to the first down marker. Dannenbrink knew just throw it right at the first down marker low, where his own guy, the O'Gorman kid, was the only one that could catch it.
So far tonight, we've seen Jefferson and Owen Warren really put a heavy pressure from the defensive end positions for the Lynx.
We only rushed 3 that time and still got good pressure.
Dannenbring drops back. He finds his receiver over the middle. That's going to be number 26. Struck. Boy, we do say that name a lot. And I still can't get it. Number 26, and I'm looking at my paper. I'm like, who is it? Oh, it's Struck. All right. Well, that's going to move the chains, and it's going to be first down for the Knights at about the 17-yard line. Shotgun formation, which it's been all night for the Knights. They're going to give it to number 14, and that's going to be Maverick Jones, and he is bottled up again. And that's going to be a gain of about 1 yard. It's going to bring up a second down and 9 as the Knights are in that red zone. And so far tonight, what we've seen from the Lynx, they've given up 2 field goals. They've really, really tightened up the Lynx defense. When the Knights have got into the red zone, they need to do it here.
Yeah, we've whatever MC did at halftime to try and take away Maverick Jones' running ability has certainly helped so far. We just got to shore up the pass game now. They're finding the seams in the zone.
And there's a completed pass from Dannenbring. I believe he's going to find Struck. And that's going to move the chains. It's going to be first down and goal from about the 5-yard line as the Knights are looking to capitalize on this long drive. Boy, they have eaten up that clock. We are boiling down to about 5:30 to go in the third quarter. Remember what the scoreboard says, folks. It is 14-6. To tie the game, they would have to go for 2 if they get a touchdown. It's given to Maverick Jones. There is the touchdown for the Knights. Now let's see what they do. I believe they'll go for 2. Am I correct or not?
It's watching the sideline. It looks like it, yes.
So the Knights are going to go for 2. It is a 14-12 barn burner here in through 3 quarters. The Knights will go for 2 from about the 3-yard line. The ball is set at the 3-yard line. Knights hustle to the line. They're going to give it to Maverick Jones again, and he's going to get up the middle. It is a tie ball game as the Knights capitalize on that long drive. We've seen a little bit of everything from the Knights there. We've seen the passing game really work for them over the middle, up that seam. But then all of a sudden, at the end of this drive, all of a sudden Jones starts capitalizing on some yards.
They changed his path a little bit when they ran that power a little wider for the touchdown, and then he brought it back inside for the 2-pointer.
14-14. They just gave us a score. That's here in Brandon, but they just gave us a score, the Harrisburg score. I think it was
17-10 final.
17-10 final, and that's going to be Harrisburg, as Harrisburg, they punch their ticket on the other side of the bracket to go to the Dome next week against the winner of this ball game that you're watching tonight. And we got a nail biter, 14-14, 5:15 to go in the third quarter. Boy, field position's going to play a huge part now. Everything resets. It's 0-0 basically. We don't even have to say 14-14. Number 15, he's going to be on to kick, and that's going to be Nelson for the Knights. Spears Whitty's back, number 21, and Noah Thompson. They're going to
kick it to Jefferson
again.
Every time.
I would pretty soon take Jefferson out and put one of my running backs in there, because that's coming all the time.
Yeah, do a quick, quick change all of a sudden, and have them adjust. Maybe that's a good point, Coach, because they may have to blow a timeout then, and that's gonna. So as coaches, you always want to keep those timeouts in your back pocket for the end of the game, and that could play pivotal. I formation for the Lynx, Slack in the ball game still at quarterback for the Lynx. Carroll motion left to right. They're going to give it to Johnson. They're going to try to get Johnson going. He's going to be gobbled up by number 33, and that's going to be Materchek. Materchek on the tackle from his linebacker position. And Johnson they haven't found that seam. You talked about it, Coach Voss. You talked about how they just can't open that up. They're collapsing that really quick.
Yeah, our running game just does not look the same as it's looked previously. And that's a big part of that is all due to what O'Gorman's doing.
Shotgun formation for Slack. He's going to give it to, I believe, Langrock. We'll see who got that on that jet sweep.
Yep.
That's going to be Langrock. So they give you a little bit of a wrinkle. We haven't seen a wide receiver come from that jet motion yet.
No, they ran Carroll on it last week. One time they ran the jet sweep to Peyton.
So a big third down as the momentum has swung to the Knights. The Lynx need to capitalize and kind of deflate that momentum from the Knights. Shotgun formation for Slack. He's got Nelson and Johnson back with him. He's going to go deep. This is the first deep throw by any team, both offenses, and it's incomplete.
He had a step back there. He just overthrew him.
So it was intended for Langrock as Slack just overthrew him. He was wide open, like Coach said. Giles is on to punt again for the Lynx, and I believe you have Struck back there deep. And that's going to be number 12. That's going to be
Preston Konieczny.
Konieczny. Preston Konieczny, and great coverage by the punt team for the Lynx. So the Knights are going to start with the ball on offense, moving right to left at the 25-yard line. The Lynx need some momentum from their defense here. They need a stop. Everything's rolling the Knights' way right now. They need a turnover. They need something big to happen to turn that momentum around. Dannenbring out of the shotgun. He's going to motion his tight end to the right. It's going to be Maverick Jones again with the carry. He's going to pick up a chunk of yards, and that's going to be a gain of about 5 or 6. It'll bring up a second down.
You know, you get to this point in the year, and fans come to watch the offense, but usually it's a defense that wins the game for you.
And that's what's happening here tonight. We don't have a high-scoring game. It's 14-14. We only have one turnover in this game as Thuy threw the interception in the first half. It's a battle. Shotgun formation from Dannenbring. He's got 2 receivers to his right. They're going to give it to Maverick Jones again. He's going to go up the middle, and he's going to be stopped short of the first down. It's going to bring up about a 3rd and 1. We haven't seen, besides the first maybe 1 or 2 drives, Dannenbring really run the ball. They got to look for that here as a quarterback keeper maybe.
He hasn't run it at all since early.
And there's a 5-man defensive line, and Chunky's right in the middle of it. And I believe they stuff it just short. We'll see where the spot is. I think it's short. It's going to be no gain.
Yeah.
It's going to bring up a 4th down. Interesting call here, coaches.
Let's see how bold you are here.
Let's see if they try to draw them off sides. Maybe, the field position is going to turn no matter what, and it looks like the punting team is going to come onto the field.
That surprised me. The game clock, 25-second clock, it just started a little bit ago, and it's like it really gave O'Gorman a chance to get that kick team in there. I thought maybe the 25-second clock would start earlier.
Should we hit the wall? Like the wall's been hit on your side there? Punt formation for the Knights. Nobody back deep for the Lynx as they were looking for the fake. And the Lynx are going to start with the ball at about the 24-yard line, moving left to right. Well, the defense held.
Yeah.
It was 3rd and 1, folks, and the defense held. They put a great call from Coach Christensen to put that 5-man line. Navarro Shunky came in and played nose tackle there. He's a big boy, and he stuffed it up the middle.
Yep, he's going to eat a double team every time.
The Lynx are going to start with the ball, like we said, at the 24-yard line. 1:30 to go in the 3rd quarter when we have a tie ball game. I formation behind Slack. They're going to give it to Johnson. Great block by Nelson, and great move by Johnson.
Wow.
First it was the Nelson block that kicked him open, and then Johnson got the rest of the yards by himself.
It's like a pirouette.
Yeah, it was.
We talked about how the running game has to play a big part for the Lynx in this game.
That's the first one that he's popped.
And Nelson, we talked about, has to play a big game, and he kicked that open from the fullback position. 1st down and 10 from the 43-yard line. Slack out of the shotgun. He's got Johnson with him. He's going to find his receiver. That's going to be Langrock, and he's going to pick up the 1st down. That's going to kind of keep him out of the box. Once you start, it's going to be 2nd down. Sorry. It's going to be 2nd and 1 as he does not pick up the 1st down, but a very manageable 2nd down.
2nd and 1's better than 1st and 10 in my book.
Absolutely.
That's because you're a defensive coach.
And the clock's boiling down to about 25 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
This wouldn't be a bad time to play action 1 deep.
Yep. Take a shot here.
Slack with 3 receivers to his right. He also has Johnson. He's going to move Carroll underneath him in the jet motion. And they're going to go deep like the coaches said. I thought there might have been holding interference on that sideline, but they're not going to call it.
It's less likely to get that call on the opponent's sideline than it is on your own boundary.
You're a defensive coach.
You're a defensive coach. That's great. But the one thing we've seen from this crew, the reffing crew tonight, is that we've seen them let them play.
Yeah.
We haven't seen a lot of penalties, they've just let these two teams battle each other.
Yeah, they should.
And that's what you want. Shotgun formation for Slack. Johnson to his right. That sideline is really loud over there from the Knights. It's going to give it to Johnson. He's going to pick up the first down. And the moving company, the Lynx offensive line made sure he gained that first down. And that's going to be the end of the third quarter. We're going to boil this down into the fourth quarter, folks. You do not want to leave your iPad, your phone, your TV. What else can they watch it on?
Take a bathroom break right now.
Yep, take it right now. You don't have to listen to us. I mean, we're going to mumble along here. But we have a ball game, folks. And what a better way to for these seniors in this city to have a great football game on semifinal night here in 11 AAA here in Brandon, South Dakota.
Nope, it's exactly what everybody expected. I don't think there's a lot of people that would have been surprised if you said it's going to be tied at the end of the third quarter. It's two very good teams, two very well coached teams. Kids are playing hard on both sides. Like you said, the officials aren't getting in the way. It's fun to watch.
It definitely is. We've had a luxury being up here, you two, and it's been a luxury to be up here with you guys. You give great color. You help me so much. You give the perspective. You color it. You paint that picture for these folks at home. And I believe we had about 560 people tuning in to Lynx TV, or Lynx TV on YouTube earlier. I got that number from Harry Buck. And thank you for watching us, but thank you to these two coaches. They've really painted a picture, and I appreciate them big time.
A huge perspective, from a head coaching position. Right now, your home crowd can really play a huge part in this last quarter because kids can feed off that. They hear that. If you don't think those players don't hear the crowd that's here in the stands getting into it, they do, and it pumps them up.
First down and 10 from the 46-yard line. The Lynx just crossing the 50. There's a stoppage of play. It's a so if you look to your left, folks, they're waiting for the TV. I think Midco is covering the TV, but do not turn your channel. You want to hear us.
Unless you're already on Midco, then turn it down.
Slack out of the shotgun, two receivers to your right. It's completed, and it's going to be a first down and more. And I believe that's going to be Skolton again for his third catch. It's such a luxury to have really three good receivers and Langrock. And you can count the tight end, too.
Oh, yeah.
Carroll and Skolton and a host of other players, but they're really solid at the wide receiver position.
I think the inside linebacker, he really mistook Slack's arm strength because he came underneath that route and Slack threw a bullet.
Slack out of the shotgun. It's a QB keeper and led block by Johnson, but Slack carries number 24. That's going to be, it looks like Carter Peterson for the Knights, and he's going to gain about 2 yards just with effort there. Second down and 8 as this critical drive to start the fourth quarter is happening from your Lynx offense. Ball placed at about the 34-yard line, and Slack out of the shotgun. He's going to have Nelson and Johnson. They're going to give it to Johnson. He breaks a tackle. He's going to scamper. He's going to gain the first down and more. He's going to be kicked out of bounds from the Knights defender, but he's really gaining those after-contact yards, and that's playing huge in the third quarter and now the fourth quarter.
He's doing a lot of it by himself right there, breaking tackles and running through people.
Because the holes just aren't there, and the Knights, they're playing a great defense tonight. Both teams are, and Johnson's just willing that way and willing those first downs.
I tell you what, if he's a pickpocket, he could rob you blind because they have him, and next thing he's gone.
I formation again from Slack, Nelson and Johnson. They're going to give it to Johnson. Johnson's going to cut up. Big hole from Shunky. I think Shunky pulled on that one from the right tackle to left tackle. We've seen that this year. How hard is that, coaches, to do that?
Yeah. Johnson does a nice job. He waits for that block. He just sits there and
That's the same design as the touchdown that Noah scored in the first half. His second touchdown, I mean, it's the same play. It's just the quarterback running the ball as opposed to the tailback.
Shotgun formation for Slack. He's going to have, I believe, Nelson and Johnson in the backfield. He motions his tight end. Johnson stiff arms a defender. He's going to gain about 1 to 2 yards there. And it is going to bring up a 2nd and goal from about the 2-yard line. That senior, number 28, he must have sat on the sideline from the 3rd to the 4th quarter. Put it on my shoulders. I'm just going to go get the first downs, and maybe we'll see him hopefully find the end zone.
Yeah, he's running so determinedly. He just will not allow himself to go down.
2nd down and goal from the 2, motioning Carroll from right to left. I formation behind Slack. Give to Johnson. He's going to find the end zone.
Yes,
and there it is. The Lynx take the lead off the shoulders of Johnson. That was a wide open hole. Nobody was touching him. But for majority of that series, it's been all Johnson.
Yeah.
Touchdown.
that left guard pulled and went up into the hole, and he didn't even have to block anybody. They sealed the whole thing.
So your Lynx go up by 6 as Brummel's going to be on to kick. Every point is crucial right now as the kicking game comes on. Skolton to hold. Low snap. Brummels gets it off. Great job by Skolton to grab
absolutely.
that as it was dribbled to him.
That's why you put a receiver there.
Good point. Your Lynx go up by 7 in this semifinal matchup. Harrisburg on the other side's already punched their ticket to next week down in the Dome. The winner of this will punch their ticket to face Harrisburg next week. And your Lynx are up 21-14. We talked about how the offensive line and credit the defense for the Knights, but Myers, Bunkers, Copel, Wydula, Shunky, and even Carroll and Nelson from the fullback position, they're grinding out there. They're not giving up.
Right.
I mean, they're grinding, and really a real seasoned offensive line kind of wins the ball game in the 4th quarter when it's a tight one.
Well, I'm not seeing them have to double team a lot either, which makes it easier, when you can just man on.
And there's a squib kick from Brummels. It's going to be picked up by number 84, and that's going to be Satter. We've called his name quite a bit tonight as he's had to play tight end, running back at some point in this game, and now he just picks up a squib kick on the kickoff. 21-14, 9:22 to go in this semifinal game. The Knights are going to start with the ball at about the 28-yard line.
We'll see what kind of answer they have to that previous drive by the Lynx here.
Dannenbring out of the shotgun. He's going to have Jones to his right. It's play action. There's a pulling guard to seal the block. They're going to try a deep pass, but it is way underthrown. It must have slipped out of his hands. As the Knights were really lucky there. That wasn't intercepted.
That was lucky.
Our safety was coming downhill like crazy to go get it, and he just couldn't get to that.
You could see the coaching staff, and I believe that's the defensive backs coach over here. Let me get his name. I'm sorry. For the Lynx, Lorenzo Williams. He played at SDSU. He took his stocking cap off and slammed it to the ground. He knew that opportunity was there for one of his defensive backs to intercept it. Dannenbring play action. He's going to find Sater. and he's going to pick up the first down. We've seen that kind of flare pattern from the tight end position all night, and it worked there for a first
they
down.
blocked it really well. You got to get that first block established, and they really did a nice job blocking our alley player.
So we got a first down and 10 from the 41-yard line. Lynx defense, you can see a lot of these kids. I mean, the adrenaline's rushing, but hands are on their hips. It's just a grind out there right now. Shotgun formation, and he's going to motion his running back. That's Dandenbring. Drops back. Heavy pressure. Does the ball come out? It does. Is it Lynx ball? Because Jefferson put tremendous pressure from the defensive end position. It is Lynx ball, the first turnover from the Knights tonight. And now the turnover battle has swung also 1-1. And what a time for that to swing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a special moment for a pass rusher to be able to get a strip like that and
that's
make a big impact play in a game.
That's the senior, number 84, Christian Jefferson. That's put heavy pressure. He already had one sack in the second quarter, and puts heavy pressure and creates the first turnover on the Knights there.
I think O'Gorman was wishing they would have a challenge flag right now.
Yeah.
I think
I
they're
agree.
thinking the arm was coming forward. It's a little different in high school than pros.
Shotgun formation for Slack. No, it's gonna be Noah Thompson from the Wildcat, and he busts it open. So they're going to throw a little more wrinkle. They're going to say, okay, you did not stop Noah Thompson in the first half. He ran all over you. We're going to give you a little bit more of him here in the fourth quarter off of the big momentum turner, off that turnover.
Yeah, I really like having him take the snaps right now, even for a couple plays. It just changes the tempo, makes O'Gorman think about other things.
Thompson out of the shotgun. We'll call it a Wildcat package. He motions three of his receivers over to the right. He's got Johnson. He's going to keep it. He gets to the outside. He's going to pick up a first down. He's going to be brought down right past the first down. But you can see his speed. Nobody was getting out there with him. He was getting that first down in and moves the chains.
They had angles on him, and he just outran the angles.
So it's going to be first down, and the Lynx are in no hurry as that play clock starts at about 35 seconds. Am I correct, coaches? I think so.
Yeah.
And they're going to take their time.
I would think, if you're Brandon Valley right now, keep the field goal possibility in there. Don't do anything where you're going to take a sack. I know you want a touchdown, but boy, a field goal's huge here too.
And Thompson stays at quarterback out of the Wildcat formation. He's going to keep it to the right again. He slips, and they're going to say he's down with a loss of 1 or 2.
Yep.
As he slipped. And sometimes on a cold night on this turf, it can get a little bit slippery now because the moisture's coming from somewhere.
Especially when you had a warm day like this. You look at your sidewalks and things, they're all wet, and so it's going to come out of the turf too.
So that switches the offense a little bit as Thompson's going to come to the sideline.
Slack is in, yep.
Slack is back in at quarterback under center. I formation with Johnson deep. Johnson's going to cut it up. He's going to be tackled by about 3 Knights, but that's going to be a decent gainer there to put it as 3rd and manageable. I think about 3rd and 9.
Yep.
Remember the clock. It's down to about 7 seconds on that clock. And I love from your quarterback there, he's looking at the clock. I just seen him peek over there as he's coming to the sideline. They know the clock's in their favor right at this point, and they want to take a big chunk off that clock. Big 3rd down for your Lynx offense and the Knights defense. Shotgun formation from Slack. He's got Johnson with 2 receivers to his right. He's going to find his receiver. Great catch by Lingrock. Boy, but Slack put it where the defender would never get it. He wasn't going to turn over that ball, but a great catch by number 10.
Such a great throw.
And that's going to move the chains. That stops the clock for a moment, and now the clock's going to wind as they move those chains and set them.
This is where tell your running backs and your quarterback, do not go out of bounds.
Right.
Do not go out of bounds.
And do not put the football
Yeah.
on the ground. First down and 10 from the 18-yard line. Right inside the red zone. That's going to be Slack. He's going to motion Skolton. They're going to give it to Johnson. And is that, coaches, you tell me. So they pulled the guard, obviously, 65 there for the Lynx. That's going to be Myers. They pulled their tackles a lot.
Yeah.
That's really unheard of.
Usually
in high
it's
school, right?
Usually it's an uncovered guy. I mean, if the guard's covered, then the tackle goes.
Okay.
If the tackle's covered, the guard goes. So
Okay.
they
So
they
they're
make
all
that
pre-snapping
decision.
that as they come,
yeah,
as they
make
come
that
to the
decision
line.
online.
Good insight from our coaches. Boy, I would be lost up here. I formation for the Lynx. Slack under center. Johnson deep. They're going to give it to Johnson again, and he's going to fight for yards. They had Johnson pinned back about 3 yards before that. He just ran over that defender.
He lowered
He's
his
done
head.
that several snaps this half.
So that's going to bring up another big third down. We're going under 5 minutes to go in this football game. It is 3rd and 4 for your Lynx. The Lynx taking their time. They're going to look over at the play clock. They're going to make sure they have enough time, and they're going to take majority of that play clock.
Are they maybe taking all of it here and then a timeout?
Yeah, I think so.
That's probably a good call. So the Lynx are going to take a timeout here. They're going to let that play clock go all the way down to 1. And there's going to be 4:30 to go. A big turnover as Jefferson comes from his defensive end position for the Lynx, strips that ball from Dannenbring to create that turnover. And boy, have the tides have turned here tonight.
Yeah, it's a huge emotional change as well as obviously a big field position change.
And that's not the first time. I mean, he had some sacks over here in the first half, too. So he's been in that backfield quite often.
I agree with you. In the running game, really in the second half, I don't know what changes have made, but what really has changed from the defensive side of the ball, you guys talked about the adjustment that was made. Remember, there was 14 points going into this, okay? And they made an adjustment where you're not going to run the ball on our defense anymore, and that's just a big adjustment by that defense for the Lynx.
Yep, they had to. I mean, we talked about that when they were coming out at half. They were going to try and change the way they were playing against the run, and offensively they were going to change the way they ran the power.
Big
There's the
third
inbounds
down
line
as
again.
Thompson's in the Wildcat. He's going to be led block. He's going to cut it up. I believe he's going to find the end zone. He does. No, they're going to bring
going
down. They're
down.
going to say he's brought down. But what a great cut by Noah Thompson. And he's going to be brought down. I thought he was in the end zone, but I don't have the view that side judge has.
You know, like Eric says, keep the clock running. We can still punch this in. So let's just
Right, let's
either
just
that
take our
or
time.
make O'Gorman burn a couple timeouts here.
What a great game plan. And we're seeing fireworks off to the distance. Game is not over, folks. We know in football, a lot of things can change real quick. It's only a one-score game right now, 21-14. But a great game plan, and we'll talk about that at the end of the game. But it's now, we got a timeout, I believe. The Lynx did not find what they wanted, and they're going to call a timeout. It's going to be the Lynx, I believe, second timeout, as they just took one a little bit ago. 3:38 to go in this ball game. Lynx up by 7, 21-14. They are down to the 1 yard line, and we've seen a big chunk of Noah Thompson all night from the Wildcat position. You coaches talked about in pregame last night. You were at Quarterbacks Club, right?
On Wednesday night.
Or Wednesday night, I apologize. And the coaches said you're going to see 3 quarterbacks. We've seen that, okay? But did we think we were going to see as much of Noah Thompson tonight? He's probably gained, I would say upwards of 200 yards on the ground.
He's well over 100.
And he's looking now to punch his third touchdown in this game.
Yeah. You know what? I don't know that prior to the game they said, no, we want to make sure Noah gets 12 snaps. What's happening is the snaps he's taken, they're having success. So why do you change that?
Exactly. Lynx come back to the field after that timeout. They got one timeout remaining.
I'm surprised they didn't go quick when he was down on the 1 yard line. They're so good at that, at running to the line and getting in the end zone. If nothing else, O'Gorman would have had to take a timeout.
Noah Thompson again from the Wildcat. He's got Johnson. Johnson's been used as his lead block. And it works again as Noah Thompson finds the end zone for his third touchdown of the ball game. We haven't seen a lot of Noah Thompson from the quarterback position, and he never throws the ball, so they know what's coming. And he scampers in for his third touchdown of the game. You see fireworks. The Lynx go up by 2 scores. It's a hard climb, a hard mountain to climb right now for the Knights with only 3:34 to go.
Boy, I tell you what, if you're Brandon Valley and you have a thoroughbred, you put it in a race. That's pretty easy.
Right, exactly.
Brummels is on to kick. We've seen Skolton grab some squibs on the ground, but Brummels has been on the money tonight. He connects for his 4th extra point, and he's played a really special on kickoffs, too.
Yeah, he's been really good tonight.
Yeah, he's put the ball in the end zone and keeping it away from the skilled position players so they cannot utilize them. Your Lynx with 3:34 to go in this 11 AAA semifinal, looking to punch their ticket into next week's championship game with a lead of 28-14.
I'd be surprised if we don't see a squib here.
Oh, for sure.
You can't give him an opportunity to run it
Unless
back.
you feel confident that he can knock it in the end zone.
10 plays, 41 yards on that drive for your Lynx, and we saw a heavy, heavy dose of Noah Thompson as he scores his 3rd touchdown of this ball game, 2 in the first half, and now his 1st in the second half. Brummels on to kick. The coach is up here, said we're going to see a squib. Well, it's a dangerous returner back there. That's going to be number 84, Sater, but great coverage.
Great coverage
by the Lynx kickoff team. Both teams, special teams, they've just had to do what they had to do. There was nothing special that's really come out of the special teams for both teams. They played it safe.
Nope,
they really played it safe.
Neutral, pretty much both ways.
So the Knights, they have to go into a passing game, you would think, as Dannenbring's going to have 2 receivers to his right. It looks like they have a cover 3. No, they're going to give it to the running back, and he's going to pick up a huge chunk of yards. That's going to be number 14, Maverick Jones. Hurry up offense now as the clock's going to stop at 3:20 with the movement of chains on that first down. Clock's wind. 2 receivers to Dannenbring's right with Jones to his right. Jones flares out. Dannenbring's going to roll right. He wants his receiver. He's going to be overthrown. Coverage made by Bisbee as the intended receiver is going to be Preston. Say that last name again, Coach. Konieczny. So it's going to bring up a second down that does stop the clock with 3:06 to go in this ball game. Dannenbring out of the shotgun, 2 receivers to his right. He's going to give it to Maverick Jones again. Maverick Jones is going to gain about 6 to 7 yards. It's going to bring up third down in about 2. Clock just under 3 minutes to go in this ball game, and they're going to give it to Maverick Jones again, and he's going to be stuffed.
He's short again.
It's going to be a gain of 1. That's going to bring up a 4th down.
They're giving him the first down.
Oh, boy. Then the fans do not like this at all. I thought he was stopped short of that by a yard.
Boo too. I thought he was way short.
Dannenbring, shotgun, first down. He's looking to pass. He's going to roll to his right. He's done that all night as he's going to find his big receiver,
Albers.
number 4.
Albers.
That's going to be Albers, like Coach said. David Albers, a senior from his wide receiver position. Stops the clock with 2:13 to go. Play clock is at about 34. Shotgun formation for Dannenbring. He drops back, finds his receiver. No, it's the pass is behind number 84, and that's going to be Satters. It's going to stop the clock, though, with 2:03 to go in second down from the right at the 50-yard line.
I would guard against any type of trick play right now, any type of halfback pass, a double pass.
Yeah, the Lynx are coming out, and they're showing 2 high safeties
Yeah,
all
they
the time,
are.
but they're bailing into almost quarter coverage.
Shotgun formation for Dannenbring. He's going to look to his receiver, number 12. That's going to be, I'll let you say it, Coach, Preston Kanichki. I can get most last names. I apologize, I can't. There's something about it. I don't know. It looks like Navarro Shunky's going to come in at nose tackle from the right tackle position, and they're going to run a little counter against him, and that's going to be Maverick Jones. He picks up a first down and a lot more as he's going to bring it down to about the 17, 16-yard line as the Knights are in the red zone. Dannenbring, there's a fumble as Jones is going to be met it was kind of a miscommunication handoff there between Dannenbring and Jones. And it looks like the Knights are going to have to take a timeout. With 1:28 to go, they did get into the red zone here, past the 20 at about the 19.
Yeah, they came out in that hurry-up offense, and sometimes your timing's not very good, and I think that's what happened there.
And
They
coaches,
just didn't communicate on the snap. The handoff was bad.
coaches,
they
this
were
game,
lucky they got the ball back.
yeah, this game's not over. I mean,
No, not at all.
we've seen crazier things happen in football games. You guys obviously have probably seen it from the sideline, and you know, you have a ball game where they're going to put, it looks like they were down to 128, so they put another, it looks like 9 seconds on the clock. We're going to be put at 1:37 on the clock.
Yeah, that timeout came from the bench over there, so the official that was waving the ball dead was clear across the field, and I'm sure the clock operator didn't see him over there.
So it's going to be a second down, and it's going to be a loss there of about 3 yards on, they're going to say 1:38 now on the clock, so they're going to gain another second.
The thing that makes O'Gorman dangerous here is that, I mean, everybody thinks throw, but their biggest play guy is Maverick Jones.
Yes.
Shotgun formation. They're going to give it to Maverick Jones again. He's going to cut it up, and they're going to bring it down to about the 15-yard line. Coach is right there. The 10-yard line. Coach is right. Maverick Jones is a special player.
He's a good player. I was surprised they didn't have him back on that kickoff return.
Shotgun formation. Dannenbring's going to find the seam, the flat. That's going to be to number 84 again. That's going to be Satter. But that clock is going to wind. It's going to be a first down and goal with about 1:08 to go. Dannenbring, play action. He's going to keep it. He spins. He's going to be brought down by Bisbee from the corner position. You always want your corners to tackle well.
Yeah.
So I believe that the Knights are going to call a timeout here. They're going to call a timeout. It says on the board they have one timeout. I don't think they have any timeouts remaining after this. So 1:01 to go. The Knights are driving. They're down at about the 4-yard line. A lot of time on that clock. Too much time.
Yeah.
Isn't it right from a coach's standpoint? Until it's 0, that's too much time.
Anytime it's too
even
much
1
time when
second
you're
is
ahead.
just too much time.
Yeah, I mean, O'Gorman has to have a lot of things happen here.
Yeah.
Obviously, first of all, they got to get in the end zone here in the next 3 plays. And then they got to recover an onside kick, which is never easy to do. And then if they do happen to do that, then you still got to go down and score a touchdown.
Yeah. I think if I was Coach Sillius and the special teams guy, I'd have my good hands team or my all-state team, whatever. I'd have them right now with me.
That's a good point, Coach. We're going to bring up a 2nd down and goal from the 4-yard line. Play clock is reset at 25 seconds. 1:01 to go. Lynx up by 2 scores. Knights trying to march it in. Given to Maverick Jones. He's going to find nothing as Navarro Shunke comes from his nose tackle position to make a big stop. Hurry up offense from Dannenbring in the offense for the Knights. They're going to give it to Maverick Jones. No, it's going to be Dannenbring with the keeper. Touchdown Knights. Great play action there as Dannenbring keeps it. Everybody thought that, and the defense for the Lynx thought that Maverick Jones was going to get the ball.
Yeah, I would have.
Dannenbring keeps it for the touchdown. It looks like they're going to go for 2.
I'd hope not.
I don't know why in the world you would.
I don't know why.
I don't know either. Interesting call.
Well,
They are. Dannenbring's out of the shotgun.
You know, they're,
Okay.
if they go overtime, they don't think they can beat Brandon Valley, I'm thinking.
And 2-point conversion is
good.
no good. These coaches up here thought, well, why is that happening?
Well, they still have a chance to get the 2-point conversion if they score again, to tie it up. I'm almost thinking that the O'Gorman coach is saying, I don't know if this goes overtime if we can beat them, so we better try to get 8 right now and then see what happens.
A lot of clock left, especially, O'Gorman, Coach just said it a little bit ago. They're going to try the onside kick. You get that ball back, you're going to have great field position. Anything can happen in 44 seconds. The Knights have no timeouts. The Lynx recover. It is over, folks.
The good thing is O'Gorman doesn't have Aaron Rodgers because he could pull this off. But then again, the Packers don't have Aaron Rodgers either. So, so this is going to be all receivers on this team. I don't think you'll see anybody with a number of 50 or above.
So the hands team is on for the Lynx kickoff return. We know there's going to be an onside kick. Which way are they going to come from? Remember,
Well,
he is a left-footed kicker. And you've seen it from, and it's going to be recovered by Van Weston, number 7. And you hear the sideline, you hear the fans cheering. They know what's about to happen as the Lynx offense is going to go out to the field. I believe they can go into victory formation. Just be safe with the ball.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Just be safe. We saw Van Weston kind of bobble that, too.
He kind of made a save like a goalie there to keep it from going by him, and he did a good job of keeping it in front of himself.
You know, this will be interesting. Was O'Gorman offsides on the
there is a
kickoff?
flag.
And if O'Gorman's offsides, it's an automatic dead penalty. So O'Gorman's going to get a shot at it again.
Really?
If O'Gorman was offsides.
Wow.
And I believe that's what it's going to be.
So,
and this is the bone of contention I always had. I always felt that I understand this, but to me, O'Gorman should have to go 15 yards now. But they only have to go 10.
So explain it again, Coach, what just happened.
Okay, O'Gorman was offsides on the onside kick, which means the play is dead immediately. There's not even a kick. So they've penalized O'Gorman 5 yards. You bring out your good hands team again. O'Gorman's going to go for the onside kick again, but it only has to go 10 yards, just like originally. It doesn't have to go 15, like the penalty.
Wow.
So,
wow.
It's a very minimal penalty to be offsides on an onside
yeah,
kick.
especially when you're on the far side and the ball's not coming your way.
You almost think you'd call a timeout from the Lynx just to get everything situated again, because you've seen the sideline scrambling. And it's going to go out of bounds.
That's a penalty, but that'll be.
And that's going to be another penalty,
right
but
there.
that's going to be Lynx ball. Am I
That's gonna
correct?
be Lynx ball.
Yeah.
Okay. So we got 44 seconds to go after that whole. I just learned something, folks. You just learned something. But at the end of the day, the Lynx are going to go into victory formation here.
First and 10.
And hats off to this coaching staff, what they have had to endure in the last, we've all endured, but they had to endure a lot more than what we have endured. And hats off to that coaching staff. This team is about to punch their ticket into another championship game. We're kind of used to that around here. But, boy, what an accomplishment. And they got one game to go.
Yep. They'll get in the locker room, say good job to the kids, go get the film, and go to work, I'm sure, tonight.
So Slack's going to kneel it. I believe he's going to have to do that one more time, as it looks like the play clock and the game clock are simultaneously together there. So Slack's going to kneel it, and that's going to do it as your Lynx are victorious in this 11 AAA matchup here in Brandon, South Dakota, 28-20. Your Lynx are going to be playing the Tigers again.
Yeah.
Again. Two suburb teams are going to the 11 AAA game. What an enjoyment that is, and we're seeing fireworks, folks. Coaches, give me a recap of what just happened.
Well, yeah, it's two great teams. There's no doubt about it. And it was a battle the whole way through. Like you said, Brandon Valley is accustomed to being in the state championship game, and that plays in your favor, without a doubt. There are kids in black jerseys out there that, they're not going to get in the game. They're not going to get in this game, but they want to be a part of the program. They want to go to the Dome. They want to have that experience, and they give you something in practice. They work hard in practice. So, there's every one of those kids is vital. Whether they get on that field tonight, next week, it doesn't matter. They want to be a state champ.
And Coach Foss?
I think, we all anticipate a really good game. I think Noah Thompson was clearly the X factor. He was the thing that they could not answer. He's a tremendous athlete, and it's what you do when the playoffs come around. You put your good athletes on the field as much as you possibly can, and it really paid off for him.
It really did, and what an enjoyment. You can see the players on the field, but I'm going to keep on harping on it. This coaching staff, what they've done with this group of kids and everything that off the field that they have had to endure. And we know, Coach Garrow, we're praying for you. It's excitement, but it's humbling altogether. And we know that this team can walk into the Dome next week. It's hard to beat a real good team 2 times in one season.
Oh, for sure.
Right, coaches?
Yeah, definitely is. It'll be a great game next week. There's no doubt. It's the 2 best teams. Very clear and obvious right now. Those are the 2 best teams. And what you get, tonight is Brandon Valley's got a lot of seniors, and one of the messages they're going to send to those other underclass kids is, we don't celebrate this. We've got one more week of work. Otherwise, this is all for naught. So you don't get all giddy. I mean, you're obviously excited every time you win a game, but this is not the one they want to win. It's the one next week that matters.
Yeah, and I think piggyback on that, there are a lot of seniors out there in black jerseys that next week, that will be their final game. They're not going to go to college. They're not going to play college football. So they're going to lay it on the line. They just need that junior and sophomore to lay it on the line, because that junior and sophomore is going to have another chance at it. But this is my last chance. So I'm not going to play anymore. I'm going to play as hard as I can, as long as I can, as long as God is willing to let me play. And I think the team has a lot of unity. I think the team has a lot of unity because of Chad's situation and Matt coming in. And I think that just adversity, you can play with adversity, and it can be in your favor.
That's a good point, coaches. And I have to say this activity was brought to you by Lynx TV, its advertisers, and the member schools of the SAA. No rebroadcast in whole or in part may be made without the written permission of the SDHSAA. Well, folks, we're not going to be able to bring you, as we always know this, we can't bring you the championship games, but it's been a pleasure, coaches.
Yeah,
You
it's
guys
been really
have been-
fun.
It's been
you guys
fun.
have been
Yeah,
amazing,
it's been a
and
blast.
I appreciate it, and I know the fans at home and Lynx Nation appreciate you guys, what you guys have done in the past for the Lynx programs, and we appreciate you giving your time and effort to bring that color to Lynx TV. It's been tremendous. So thanks to you guys. I appreciate it. And everybody, I think tickets go on sale at 8 a.m. Monday morning. You can check probably the school website, I believe. But it's been a joy. Let's go cheer on this team down in, I almost said Brookings. Okay. Down in Yankton. And let's cheer them. Vermilion. Jeez. I'm way off.
Kopechki's his name, by the way.
That's why I have these guys here. They can correct me all night. So it's been a pleasure, folks, and we hope you've enjoyed it. And from these two coaches, my name's Ken McEwen, and you guys have a great evening. Your Lynx are victorious tonight as they punch their ticket into the 11 AAA championship game against the Tigers next Saturday evening. Have a great evening.
Our Buy Brandon campaign is a way for the chamber to put some excitement into our residents and our community about how important it is to spend your dollars here in Brandon.
The Buy Brandon campaign is very important for the city of Brandon. Here in South Dakota, most cities rely heavily on sales tax, much more than in other states. Without sales tax, we wouldn't be able to operate. You wouldn't have people plowing your snow. You wouldn't have a police department. You wouldn't have parks or park improvements. So it is essential that people buy in town. The more you buy in town, the more local sales tax comes into our coffers, the more things that we can do to improve your quality of life in Brandon.
Last year's Buy Brandon campaign went excellent. We did really good with the sales tax revenue, which now this year we get to reap the rewards of everyone buying Brandon.
Sales tax revenue was a little over $3.3 million last year. It was an increase over the previous year, and we have continually increased each year. We use that money for park improvements, such as the Sunrise Playground surfacing, the transit bus system. Last year we did also buy a new bus. Our original bus was getting aged and old. We also use that for debt service and some equipment for different departments. With the money we bought a plow truck, which helps plow our streets in the winter months, and we also bought a loader.
One of the upsides to closing the pool this summer is we plan